Hey guys, today is a pretty nice day out, low wind and all. Figured it'd be great to do a rig tour today. So why don't you come along with me and I'll show you a little bit about my welding rig. This rig is heavy equipment repair and commercial client based. We do a lot of residential work, believe it or not. We found the right way to market and the right way to bill. We are extremely profitable in doing residential repair work. A lot of businesses stay away from it, but we take pride in doing it. We do also a lot of trailer repair work. So that in mind, I'm going to show you a little bit about my rig truck, and hopefully if you're just starting out, feel free to take any ideas. I watched a lot of YouTube when I was starting out, and this is a great way to share information. If you've been doing this for 7 years like I have, please feel free to say something in the comments if you think there's something extra I needed to try to cram on this truck. It's pretty tight, pretty crammed, but appreciate you watching this video. Come on along and show you a little bit about my rig. So we're going to step into the cab. That's one of the most important parts. So we're in the cab. This truck has quite a bit of mileage on it. Bought this truck when I was 20. I'm now 22. It's been kind of my daily driver / welding rig. I broke out on my own just last year. So a lot of those miles were still working, them 9 to 5 jobs. So yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. It's a 6.7 diesel. I'd honestly rather have the 6.2 just for maintenance wise. It's a lot cheaper to maintain, a lot better intervals, a lot cheaper maintenance items like fuel filters and all. But you know what? This truck is great. It's what I got. I got a good deal on it, so I'm not going to complain. Up in the dash, I keep my gas detector, just cheap low gas detector. Some jobs need it. Some jobs it's just best to have, just for extra insurance. Clip on my little coveralls, and here's the light controller for the amber lights. These two control the back floodlights, cabinet lights, and amber lights. Got my John Deere key. I work on, like I said, I have heavy equipment clients, and a lot of them run John Deere's. Actually, a client gave me this. I do have other keys like the International Kubotas and all kinds of other keys, equipment keys, but that's the one that I use the most, so I hang it on my mirror. Cowboy hat, because why not? Tractor Supply Special right there. Passenger seat usually stays wide open. I don't like to keep tools in it or anything. I do have my paper towel dispenser, good old CB radio, and my clipboard. Gotta have a clipboard for all your receipts, your billing, and your invoices and all. Got my Master Force 410 watt power inverter. Charge my laptop and my batteries as well as my phone off of that. Charges a lot faster than the USB ones. That's pretty much it with the cab. Let's go ahead and go where the fun stuff is. So we step out of the cab and we go to this door right here. This is what I got right behind the cab. Usually is my most used stuff. I got my pecan, or my fire extinguisher. I got my 25 foot of 240, 25 foot of 110, another 25 foot of 110. Whips. My leads are 30 foot long, not very long, but for the work I do, I've really never had an issue. Go-to hammer, and my slag chipper, which is just I believe that's a drywall hammer. I don't think it's a roofing hammer. I'm just a welder, guys, I don't know. But I figured out these work a lot better than those stupid dinky slag chippers, but I usually use my needle scaler. So, there's a little quick look of all my stickers. I'm a big sticker guy. I love stickers. So, yeah, that's just some stickers. And of course I gotta have that, right? That means I'm a real welder then, right? So, yeah, I got my pecan, air over hydraulic 20-ton jack, Got some F-clamps up here, my grease gun, canvas bag for carrying tools to location, a smaller jack, degreaser, paint remover, all that good stuff. Driver's side drop down. So we got all kinds of paint. Like I said, I work on heavy equipment, so I got a lot of paint to do with specific customers, what they paint their equipment, and also just like international red. Obviously this is, you know, I got the Caterpillar yellow, John Deere yellow, Caterpillar, you know, all that stuff. All the name brand equipment paints, I usually stock them. I have a ton of black. I actually buy black paint, spray paint by the box from the hardware store. I got my heavy duty kit. I'll go ahead and get that out in a minute, but let's go through the bottom cabinet first. I'm a big Master Force guy. We got a Menards close by, so that's kind of where I get a lot of my tools from. We got a flashlight, cordless flashlight, right angle drill. You don't need it until you do. Great to have. Cordless drill, 1/2-inch drill, and my little impact driver that I use as sometimes a cordless 1/2-inch impact with those little adapters. I know that's not a good thing, but you know what? It works for me. 2 grinders, because you got to have 2 grinders. Usually the wire wheel stays on this, but I interchange flap disc and cut off wheels on this one all the time. This one's my newer one. That one I've had for about a year. Just bought a second one because I had a job where I had a helper and I only had 1 grinder, and I was like, well, he's using the grinder, and now I can't do much of anything because I had to prep some plate, so I had to get another grinder. All kinds of cordless batteries. These are just half of the batteries that I have. Guys, I have a lot of batteries for these tools. Behind here, I keep some cardboard. I'll wet it down, and it works a lot better than a welding blanket. Under here, I got some stickers, DOT reflective stickers for obviously trailer repair. And under here, I keep my whiskey stick. If you don't know what a whiskey stick is, it is a long piece of metal that you use to guide your torch cuts. It's a pipeliner term and a rig welder term, usually because them guys would probably, in the old days, them guys would be drunk all the time and they needed something to, you know, cut a straight line. Well, the term got made whiskey stick. So it's just a 1/2-inch by 2-inch piece of scrap steel that it has a pretty straight edge on it. So up here, I keep 2 of these kits. I keep 2 of them in there. They're the exact same thing. All they are is drill bits. This one's been gone through quite a bit, but they're like 40 bucks. Drill bits are just too disposable to buy halfway decent ones, so I just keep buying the cheap ones, and that works for me. But yeah, I've got my slide hammer. On the chance that I do want to grip on one of my grinders, I have one of the ones that came with. A wood wedge, you just never know. Propping doors for your leads, going into breweries and that kind of work, you're gonna need a wood wedge. You don't want to cut up your leads on a door, or if you just need to chalk something real quick. Dustpan, you gotta clean up after yourself. It looks good for your business. Let's go ahead and, oh, I got this thing right here. This right here is my torque wrench. Now you might be wondering, like I said, what are you doing with the torque wrench? You're a welder. Well, I do a lot of heavy duty work on stuff, and sometimes you got to take things apart and you got to put them back together the right way. So that's what that's for. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my tailgate, and I will show you guys that. So this is also a Master Force tool. This is their heavy duty mechanic kit. It's got everything you really need. It's got, I mean, to do anything on larger size bolts, I put that adapter in there. And I believe that is not part of the kit. I did buy this and put it in there, but it comes with all the rest of them. It goes all the way up to, man, this is still greasy. I believe 1.25 inches. Man, that is nasty. That was from doing a trailer bearing. That's probably why it's still greasy. Yeah, bigger ratchets and everything like that. All 3/4 size stuff. I got 1/2-inch ratchets, so I keep an adapter in that kit. That's just what that is. So after that door, the drop down, we're on to this door now. Like I said, I'm a huge sticker guy. That's actually one of the, believe it or not to get political, but that is one of the original stickers that they were giving out in that era. So I thought that was pretty cool, so I had to put that on there. That does not reflect the political views of our company. I just thought it was cool that it was the original sticker. So that aside, we have our rigging, and we have quite a bit of it. A lot of slings. I got about four 4-foot slings and two 2-foot slings. We got tongs that we use for taking the cylinders in and out with the crane. I'll get to the crane in a minute. We got our come-alongs. I forget what this thing is called. Chain hoist. That's what it's called. We got a bear clamp or a piranha clamp or whatever you want to call it for sheet metal. Amazon special. I got 2 of these endless loop slings. They're about 2 feet long. Got a 20-foot 1/2-inch chain and a loop chain or a logger's chain that I keep in there, as well as plenty of shackles. You probably can't see the rest of them, but I do have quite a bit of shackles back there. Yeah, and then of course I got my swing press for when things get nasty and you got to start beating them. So that's that one. Let's go ahead and hop up back here. Okay, I had to switch to voiceover. The wind was just too much. That's my propane tank I use for my Tiger Torch. This is a C25 mix. And right there are those 2 tanks. There's my oxygen and acetylene. And that's my argon mix for my spool gun. Here's my Vulcan 195. It's a good machine. Got 200 hours on it. Just definitely check out the review I have coming up. Got my jack stands for occasionally I'll have to pull tires on a vehicle, but they're also just for myself, so I have them, or to prop something up. Extra gas can for the engine drive, cones, because commercial clients, sometimes you just gotta have cones. And there I got a bunch of junk, mainly just scrap steel that I carry around with me. Nothing too crazy. Some extra steel plates, 1/8 inch and 3/4 and 1/2 inch. Extra dunnage over here. There's my coolant, and there's my oil for the truck. Oil for the engine drive. There's my oil-coated ratchet strap handle dunnage. I got a video about making those. Got about 4 of them. I keep them up in the bed of the truck. There's my ladder. It's a Keller Pro KT17. Pretty good ladder. Definitely something that I've seen a lot of mobile welders carry around. Here I just got a bunch of shovels, got a post hole diggers for when I do railings, flathead shovel, spade, extra clamps, and a couple sticks of square tubing. There's my broom and my CB antenna. And if you notice, my crane's got a little light at the end of it. That little switch right there is what activates it. It's my Harbor Freight crane, nothing special. It's been modified heavily, as you can tell. Got my winch, cordless winch, well, wireless controller winch. I got that running off my engine drive battery, which is a good thing I got a maintainer on it. But it'll lift pretty much anything. I'll comfortably put 600 pounds on that crane. And there is my gin exhaust dipstick. Pretty good addition to any engine that I have. I've definitely put one on. Get yours at ginexhaust.com. But yeah, this thing costs $10 to fill up. It's a great machine. It runs all day on a $10 tank of gas. I also put an inline fuel filter on it. It didn't have one, and I'm a big fan of maintenance, so that's kind of that. There's my amber lights, as well as my 110 on the back of my truck, 110 plugs. That's my step. There's my white noise backup alarm. And the reason I went with white noise is because it is more of a directional detected noise. There's my little 4-inch vise on the back. Here's the biggest drop down I have. This is on the passenger side. There's my MP210 wire drive. Here's where this is mainly torch stuff, mainly stuff that I use every day. There's my custom homemade MIG pliers that I've manufactured. And some regulator wrenches, rosebud, and welding tips, strikers, wire brushes, junk tips for some reason that I think I need to keep, punches, files. I mean, it's kind of a mismatch. There's the torch body itself, some blocks and wedges and extra pliers. Nothing too crazy in this cabinet right here. Go up one, we got our wrenches and our ratchet wrenches and a couple extensions and adapters and a midget hammer and level. And I'm a big fan of these Mastercraft wrenches. They've got a nice tooth count on them. They're pretty affordable. And honestly, they're comparable to Snap-on. With their warranty is extremely great. Those little bits you see right above here, those are, sometimes I need those for bucket shanks. I gotta get the tooth off the bucket with those. And also my welding leads, those little ends that I put on them, they use those bits too. So I find myself using those bits quite a bit. They're just the hex bits for ratchet. There's my dog, as like a clamp dog. That's pretty general custom piece of hardware. There's my tack paddle, and that is my file, or not file holder, it's a punch folder for, in case I guess, if I have a helper and I don't trust his aim, or if I don't trust my aim and it's early in the morning, I'll throw a punch in that and use that as a holder. And there's my scrapers, extra measuring tools. Use this to jump start old equipment. You can use that to kind of jump the starter. Reamer, tap, nothing crazy. Do a little bit of an exhaust work every now and then, so I keep some extra clamps and some pipe on there. That is there's my extra taps in there. There's a copper plate for some thin stuff. I got some dog and wedge in there too. I'll talk about that later. That's the dog that I'm pointing to. And looks like I'm getting it out right now. Yeah, just some extra wedges and stuff in there. Really sucks. I need to get a microphone for my camera, but here I am explaining the dog and wedge. So basically you tack that little dog part to the metal, and then you push the wedge in, and it'll push your metal closer or farther apart depending on what you're doing. So that drawer doesn't usually get open too much, as you could probably tell. And that is for moving pieces of gear out of your way. And by gear, I mean, you know, if you got pumps or hose racks or anything like that, you can match that bolt pattern, put a bolt through it, match that flange pattern. You could pick it up with your crane, and that just helps you move stuff and get to where you can work on stuff and get stuff out of your way. They're pretty easy to make, and they're pretty disposable. I weld and tack on them and break them all the time. It's nothing crazy. Here's just extra tools for my air hoses and stuff. A lot of repair kits I keep on hand. Extra stuff for my air chisels. Extra fittings in case I break them, which I do from time to time. I know a lot of mobile mechanics that just run electric cordless tools. I'm no mechanic, but for me, for what I do, it works best that I have an air compressor. It's actually one of the reasons that I chose to go with a service body, was to have a place to securely mount a air compressor and for it to be completely out of the way. So that is one of the major things, and a good hose reel is going to be a good friend when you are running air. And here's just an assortment of markers: paint markers, chalk markers, soapstones. I mean, if it marks on metal, it's in this drawer. Pine cone bits, commercial water keys, extra socket adapters. There's that blue thing I was picking up, that's for my snap ring pliers. Extra, all kinds of different sizes of nut splitters, equipment keys, and There's my wire drive. It's an MP210 Power Meg. I've had this for, I'll say, 4 years now. Put thousands of feet of wire through this thing. It's been a great machine. But I got a 15-foot whip on it right now. I run it off my engine drive. It runs it off just fine with my 210 remote that I've plugged in going into the engine drive. This little thing is super handy. Honestly, it's great for all kinds of stuff, but picking stuff up off the floor is one of them, for without bending over. On the top of this toolbox, I got a whole bunch of stuff, extra, just stuff that I hardly ever use, but it's worth having on the truck because usually my rule is if I've needed it twice, it goes on the truck. Security bit fasteners. I don't know why I have this honestly on the truck. Kind of forgot that I had it, but yeah, I have it. Chain tool, I actually use that about 3 or 4 times a year. Step bits, tire repair kit. That's usually from me though. I don't not want to go out and repair tires. That's really for my own good. I'm in and off of construction sites a lot, so it's good to have that. These are cotter pins and O-ring kits, and I also have a bunch of greaser kits and all kinds of stuff like that. You got to put stuff the way back you found it, you know. You don't want to have a little O-ring or a little cotter pin prevent you from fixing somebody's equipment when you're putting it back together. It's just good to have those on hand. And this is sad, but this is my tap and die kit. It's been ran hard, put away wet, and it was a cheap kit to begin with. Definitely worth upgrading in the future. But yeah, I know, it's sad, but it is what it is. There's my spool gun. And that's just kind of the... That thing is actually super handy. I don't know what this thing is called. I call it my layout tool or something. I don't know. But it's more of a toy than a tool. But if you got some circumference of something, you can match it on a piece of sheet metal pretty easily. Extra AAAs. For some reason I have a heat blanket in there. I'm not sure why, but I have it. And tape measures. I could probably fill that. Whole rubber bucket on the back of my truck with tape measures. I got about 6 of them floating around on this truck. For some reason I have a piece of 1/4 inch in there. I don't know why. Like I said, I don't get up in that part of the truck too often. Right angle vise. It's good for on-site fabrication. It's nice to get things square. I mean, it's just another tool of the trade, really. I know a lot of guys that don't run those, but it's whatever. I mean, I do a lot of fabrication in other people's shops, so I kind of have to bring the fab shop to them. And that's pretty much it for that. And here is the air compressor and also my knee pads. So it's just a little 4-gallon air compressor. There's my trouble light with a little 10-foot whip. There's extra oil for the engine drive. I call these knee pads my Gladiator knee pads, but they are also by Masterforce. If you are not noticing a trend, Menards is pretty close, if you can't tell, to where we are located. And let's just say we probably are one of the people that keep them in business. Based on my QuickBooks, I spend over $1,000 a month with them, so we are very lucky to have a tool supplier in a hardware store that close. But this box is mainly mechanical. So in this box I got a lot of fluids, is mainly what I keep in here. Also with my sockets, I got battery terminal spray, chain lube, brake clean, butane fuel, dielectric grease, general and red and tacky grease, silicone lube, ether, PB blaster, air tool oil, anti-seize. I mean, the list goes on. I got my duck bills and my long reach vice grips over there, my multimeter, just for some short electrical diag. I don't do a whole lot of electrical diag, but when I do, it's nice to have it. It's mainly for my own stuff again. I got my torch tips in this container right here. I buy them in bulk, like everybody else should. Also, speaking of bulk, buy the hundreds, flap disc, and cut-off wheels. If you aren't buying them in bulk, you're wasting your money. because they are rising in prices, and you need to be able to secure a lot of them at once. There's my gauges for my MP210 and my oxyacetylene. There's my hose. There's my deep and short SAE and metric sockets, all 1/2 inch impact rated. There's a pipe clamp, tiger torch, zip ties, and there's that little impact right over there. That is a Sanborn impact. That thing is a beast. I've had it for 2 years now, and that thing, I mean, there's a couple times where I've put it on some things and it didn't like to take them off, but it did. It's definitely a good purchase. I think I paid $100 for it. There's a pipe wrench and magnetic tray for miscellaneous stuff that I have to take apart. Just like the zip ties, you know, you take something apart, you gotta put it back. There's extra hoses for my regulator. If you blow one of those and you're running gas, I mean, you're pretty much screwed. So I keep 2 extras on the truck at all times, just in case, because like a heavy piece of equipment or gear could fall on a hose and break it. You could have a hot piece of slag. It could be anything, so you want to make sure that you have extras. Basically, the name of the game, if you're seeing a pattern, is redundancy. Especially in the mobile welding and repair business, you gotta have multiples. You just got to. You're gonna break them, you're gonna burn them. If not those 2, you're gonna lose them. So that's that box. I'm pretty impressed with these Lund boxes. I bought them at Menards, so I mean they're pretty decent. I've had them on there for about 2 years now. And here is all my air tools on the top part of the cabinet. These are all my greasers, electrical fittings, crimps, extra fuses, basically all nuts and bolts and washers and hardware. I mean, all the small stuff like that. It's a lot of electrical and nuts and bolts and greasers and extra O-rings and stuff like that. Just general hardware that, like if I'm doing trailer brakes or trailer lights, it's good to have that stuff on hand. Good quality heat shrinks too, not just the cheap ones you get at your hardware store, but the nice heat shrink ones. You're gonna want those. They crimp so much nicer. They're made of better material. This is just my Klein bag. It's my Klein bucket bag. It's got all my general grab and go tools in it. I'm not gonna go through the whole bag. That's a whole nother video. But yeah, just some wrenches, some screwdrivers, some nut drivers, some hand tools. Excuse me. Just some general stuff. And then I got me some red rags stuffed in between my hardware and my Klein bag. Big channies, medium channies, my work light, my dead blow hammer, rubber mallet. I got this light at Napa for like $10. It runs on AAA's. I love this thing. It's awesome. I can't believe I haven't lost it yet because it's magnetic. There's my trailer ball hitch, wrench, dikes, and there's my brake pad caliper spreader. Is that red can. It's my WD-40. This is just mainly miscellaneous electrical. I work on dump trailers from time to time, and you just really never know what you're going to encounter with them. So I've got some picks in there too for seals. There's my remote for my crane, and I also have a test light in there for more electrical diag. General set of wrenches, nothing too crazy. Mainly 3/8 and 7/16. Got a lot of duplicates in there. Screwdrivers and Torx ends. Driver ends. I think these things are called, I forget what these things are called. They're for trim, and there's little plastic poppet things under your engine bay, so you can remove fan shrouds and stuff like that, and wire harnesses too. They come in handy. Shears, spark plug tools. I got some weird needle nose pliers in there too. And there's that can I was talking about. It's just a pressure pump can. There's the rags. But yeah, let's go ahead and get those tools out, and I'll go through them all. So there's what's all crammed up in that top cabinet right there. Right angle die grinder. And I got two, for some reason, I got two tire inflators. They're both digital. I don't know why I have two, but I have two. Oil filter wrenches for my truck. Those are specific for the oil filters. You never know when you're going to do maintenance on it. You know, it's just best to have that stuff on you. I'm a traveling welder, so you just never really know. It's always good to have that stuff. But I got both of these at O'Reilly's. I think I paid $10 for both of them, for each of them. They're not crazy expensive. Honestly, my favorite one would probably be the one that goes on the 3/8 ratchet. There's an air hammer. I got a bunch of bits for it. Indispensable. I love air hammers. They're great for peeling stuff apart. My needle scaler is probably my favorite air tool on this whole truck. Needle scalers, if you don't have one, you need to get one because you are missing out. Seriously. These things are great for busting rust. I mean, cleaning stuff up, cleaning up rims, they're great. Die grinders, cut off wheels, die grinder bits. That is a converted 1/2-inch air ratchet. And there's another die grinder. And there's a pair of bolt cutters, because why not? And that all goes up there. And here is the cabinet. We have one cabinet left. This is all PPE. This is the side that we started at. It is all things PPE. There's my hard hat, my welding helmet. I got my earmuffs. I'm a huge fan of these, by the way. Orange goop rough towels. These things are awesome. If you work in the field and you got greasy hands, you need to get you some of these, because if you heard of tub of towels, they're the same thing. They are cheaper though. Here's my welding lens. I got a Lincoln and my Hobart welding flip down hood. There's my earmuffs and all. Respirators are extremely important in this business. So is the ear protection. Welding jacket. There's all my extra welding lenses. Extra welding rods. I got 2 cans of 70-18 and 1 full can of different sizes of 60-10. Whole bunch of welding gloves. That right there, when I'm peeling out, that's called a Nomex hood. And if you know anything about those, they go over your whole head and they leave out but basically the eyes and the mouth. And basically, if you're doing a lot of overhead, those things are super nice. In that little blue container, I got a Inconel and 333 stick rods, basically for cast iron and stainless repair. Then I got my lockout tag out. If you don't know what it is, just definitely look into it and get yourself trained on it. You never know when you're going to need it, so I have it. For some reason, I have 1/2-inch nuts. 1/2-inch stainless nuts in here. I don't know why, but they're in there. Gloves for doing trailer bearings and getting greasy and all, as well as goggles. Those antibacterial wipes I use to wipe down my respirator. I just got a new one of those. That's actually my brand new one. I get a new face piece about every 7 months, and then I replace my filters about once every month. I don't let them get too far without replacing them. But yeah, that's that cabinet. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. Nothing too crazy. There is one more cabinet on this side that I gotta go over, and that is this one. Got my trailer hitches up there. There's a small pecan for the truck. There's jump cables. There's a winter diesel treat and a tow strap, which I use quite a bit because this truck is ridiculously heavy. And there's my little vise. Little 4-inch vise. I appreciate you guys watching my content. Make sure to like it, subscribe it, and all that stuff. And if you didn't like it, well, I don't care. Go watch somebody else. Yeah, that was the rig tour of 2023 I did order a couple socket holders and a new hard hat. I guess I can do a review on those once I get those, but those will be going in the truck. As far as that goes, nothing else I have planned to change on the truck. The tools that are on the truck are kind of the tools that are set in stone. But if you do have any comments or any ideas for the way I store things, or any ideas for new tools that I should try, you should definitely drop a comment below. I'd love to try out new tools. I am a sucker for stickers and tools, and gear, like PPE and welding hoods and stuff like that. I mean, I have quite a, these are just the ones that I keep in my trailer. I have like 5 or 4 more out in storage. So I mean, it's kind of an addiction. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.